There is a school of thought now that says every single company in the world needs to think of itself as a media company. Red Bull has a huge media company, but there's a school of thought that says, even if you're a one-person consultant, you need to think of yourself as a media company in terms of your Facebook post, your social, your YouTube, your TikTok, doing a podcast. And you look at a lot of the most successful CEOs these days, a Reid Hoffman has a podcast. He's a regular media company. And, really well-known CEOs for decades have at some level done this. I mean, Richard Branson has published more than 20 books. That essentially makes him a publisher. Versus the old school, which is to hire someone, agency, you, me, someone to pitch the person to be interviewed on some other media outlet. Now, a lot of people obviously do both. But I am seeing a trend where a lot of the most successful people in the world, successful entrepreneurs, they focus exclusively on building a media outlet with a huge audience. Easier said than done, obviously, but whether it's a podcast, whether it's a YouTube channel, and then they're very selective that, the best PR is having a huge audience because then media are seeking you out. MrBeast doesn't have to have publicists begging reporters to cover him.
Right.
They need someone just to take the 50 calls that come in every hour from reporters who want to interview him. Now, we can't all be Mr. but everyone these days could, in fact, do a monthly podcast. Everyone these days could do a weekly 30-minute town hall meeting on YouTube for their stakeholders. To what extent are you seeing more clients saying, hey, I still want to work with you, but I want to actually own my own media distribution in the sense that it's my podcast, it's my YouTube series, it's my series of books. How are you seeing that shake down with your clients?
Not much. Despite everything that I recommend, again, it depends on the client, what their niche is, what company they are. A lot of them, even monthly fact sheets are sometimes like pulling teeth. And then I always recommended, especially if, say, it's in an international company. Well, people want to see your face. They want to see the manager. So you could do a 15-minute update. You could do a pre-recorded. You don't even have to do it live. If there's time to do a pre-record update, just say, hey, here's just giving you an update on that means so much to people. So, I try to do the baby steps and say, okay, let's get you out there and let and then people will start, with questions and whatnot. But, all I ever get half the time is we don't have the time. But that's, again, let me do what I do. You do you.
People say that, but then if you ask them, hey, the Wall Street Journal would like to talk to you tomorrow afternoon for a couple of hours about a possible front page. Suddenly they have the time.
Yeah.
If you say, well, CNN or CNBC, I should say, if CNBC would love to have you on Squawk Box tomorrow, it would mean you needing to get there 2 hours early at 5 a.m. Suddenly everybody has the time because they see that audience. And what they don't realize is over time, if you're consistently, someone like a Reid Hoffman has a pretty huge audience to his podcast. It didn't happen overnight. And granted, he was already a famous billionaire as a founder of LinkedIn. But with a lot of the social media, if you put in the time, you can reach people over time. But it doesn't get the adrenaline flowing of